Hi, my name is Natalie, and I enjoy doing a variety of arts and crafts projects. Join me today as we make a Easter card out of some of the gel print paper that we had from the very first project that I posted here on YouTube. So this gel print paper has a metallic background, and I'm going to use a metallic sheet underneath it to set off the metallic colors that are in it. So I'm going to cut this paper to be the right size to leave a little bit of a border on that copper metallic paper. Decide where to cut it on the top and the bottom. The grid lines on this Tim Holtz Tonic paper cutter really help get these lined up nicely, makes it easy work of it. So there, I'm looking to make sure it's the right size. I'm going to use my tape runner here and stick this down. I have to admit, I took a long time for me to decide to get a tape runner. I used double-sided tape for a long time. Really liked the way double-sided tape worked. Didn't think I really needed a tape runner, but now that I have one, I don't know how I ever lived without it. So the focal point of this card is going to be this little chick. And this is a stamp from Unity Stamp Company. And it's one that I've used many times for a lot of different projects, but to me, he just screams Easter. So I really enjoy doing him. And we're going to watercolor this chick. So I have some watercolor paper in my Misty stamper. And I'm going to use this archival ink and stamp it several times to get a nice even stamp. And this ink color that I'm using is sepia. It seemed to be a softer color to use rather than using black, and it goes with the colors that are part of this background. Excuse me. Allergies. Allergy season here in Arizona. Everything is in bloom. We're having a super bloom this year. So I'm taking the background card here, and I'm also going to stamp this little chick onto here, so that when I glue him down, he'll have some ground to stand on, and his feet will be there already in place. So let's set the Misty stamper aside, and we'll get out the watercolors. So this watercolor palette that I have is a mixture of a couple of different brands of paint. I use the Turner's watercolor paints quite often. They're one of my favorites. I get them from Jerry's Artorama, and they're usually a fabulous price there. So the color that I'm using for this little bird here is a soft, and it actually is not one of the brands, not one of the Turner colors, but it is Soho, which I think might be Jerry's Artorama. Maybe it's its own brand, but it's Soho Naples Yellow. So Naples Yellow is a pretty common color. And then this other one is Turner's Quinacridone Gold. And I'm using that to put a little bit of shadow, warm him up just a little bit around the underside. Now you wouldn't think that that pan of really dark paint there would lighten up to be such a beautiful golden yellow color, but it does. Now I'm going to add some gold. Can't have too much blitz here, a little bit of extra bling, and this fairly flat layered card. So I'm going to add a little gold around his chest to give him some excitement there. And I'm going to go back to this Naples Yellow, give a little bit more curvature and highlight shadow to different areas, fill him in a little bit where he seemed to be a little light. A little shadow under his beak. And then we'll set him aside and let him dry. I'm going to take a little bit of blue, and that was the wrong blue. What I actually want is this indigo blue here. And I'm going to paint that along the bottom to give the ground a little bit of a shadow, make it look like there is some ground there. And here's my Easter stamp. This is an old stamp I've had for a long time. I'm going to put the greeting on the front of the card using this Tim Holtz die. And I'm also using the Sidekick, the Tim Holtz Sidekick, to cut this die. So this is a metallic gold card stock, and I'm going to stamp with the archival ink right onto that. And we're going to back this tag with a dark brown cardstock. Probably it is a chocolate brown. Now I think this chocolate brown and the card base that we're going to use, which is a Harvest Gold, which you haven't seen yet. I believe those are both cardstocks that I got from Paper Tray Ink. I have a number of stamp sets from Paper Tray Ink, and I really like their cardstock. They do beautiful colors, matches their ink pads. So this stamp, as I said, I've had it a long time. I don't remember where it came from. It says Spring Forth and Welcome Easter. So we'll give that a minute to dry. Takes a minute for the archival ink. So through the magic of video, here is our little guy already cut out. And his feet are cut off because they're a little too fine to cut out. So we'll use the feet that are part of the stamp that are on the background. So I'm taking a little bit of turquoise blue, and I'm painting around the edges of it just a little bit, so that when I put him down on that background, he stands out and blends in. So he doesn't stand out too much. I think the white around the edges of him, when I cut him out, would make him stand out a little too much. So with that done, we can glue him into place on this background. So I'm just going to use a little liquid glue on him. That gives me a couple of minutes to move him around a little bit if he shifts out of place or anything. Make sure I get him in just the right position so that he matches up over that previously stamped image on the background. And I'm going to put a block on him to weight him down while he dries. It also flattens him out a little bit. Okay, so let's finish up this tag. I'm going to punch a hole in it. This is just a standard office supply 1/4 inch hole punch. And I have a piece of ribbon, variegated ribbon here that I'm going to use on the tag. And yeah, I didn't like the way I put that through. It's backwards looking to me, so I'm going to run it through again, turn it around, go from the back to the front. There we go. So cut the edges of this ribbon up. Almost off screen there, but he's pretty much dry. Put this tag into place for the greeting on the front. Some more tape runner. Having trouble deciding whether I want it straight or angled or how I'm going to fit it in above his head, but I think I like that. So here's this Harvest Gold cardstock from Paper Tray Ink, and it matches the yellow pretty well that was used as part of that jelly print page. This makes a nice complement. I'm going to start by stamping on the back my little handmade by stamp. And then my Happy Easter greeting on the inside. Now this is a commotion stamp that I have had for a very long time. I'm almost positive commotion stamps is not in business anymore. But a lot of other companies make Easter stamps or other holiday stamps, so you should be able to find something in your stash or purchase new. That ribbon keeps wanting to get into my tape. So we'll just line this up on here. A nice border all the way around. Press it down. And we're pretty close to being done there. So I do like that yellow matching the card. And the gold, we get a bit of bling with some gold speckles on his chest. And there we go. Here's the close-up of the card. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Come back again and push the button to subscribe. Bye-bye.